Upgrading DCL to Lacazette.
Oh no.
Upgrading DCL to Lacazette.
Oh no.
Upgrading DCL to Lacazette.
Oh no.
Welcome back, guys, to Not Another FPL podcast. We're looking ahead to game week 18 and we're looking back at what just happened in game week 17. We're recording on a Monday night. I'm here with James. We're raring to go. How you been, James?
I've been actually very well.
Did you like the intro?
Loved it, mate. In fact, I actually can't believe what actually happened. And I'm actually so shocked, mate. I'm still not even sure if it happened or not. Yeah, what do I say? Can I move on with my game week, or do I have to sit here and you're just going to gloat about all the shouts you put out? Because he wasn't the only one, to be fair to you.
No, I'll tell you what. You carry on and you carry on. How did game week go? How is it going?
Well, it's going well. 70 points with Mitchell to come on, so 76 with actually 7 players. Sorry, that's 76 with 8 players. Still got Mo Salah to come on, so hopefully a big night from him. And then now leave me, with 9 players through the game week. I've had big calls from Son, who I put the armband on last minute. We've had big drops from Fernandez, De Bruyne and Creswell. Massive 11 points, lucky with the assist. And then Dyer with 6. So that's me at the moment. Looking good, green arrows all round. And what about you?
Yeah, very nice. Currently sat on 82 points. It was very nice that Souček got that goal. He is definitely Moises Fellaini. He sort of gets a bit of license, doesn't he, in the last sort of 15, 20 minutes. I think Moisey must give him the nod from the side of the pitches that just says, go for it. Rob Holding, I'm glad he left my dreams and went into my fantasy team, because he some say he might be lucky to get that assist, but he held on to the clean sheet and he got a lovely 10 points.
What a shout that was! What a shout! I've honestly, I thought 6 points. I thought you'd be landed with it. The fact he's come away with 10, I think it's just unbelievable, isn't it? It's just absolutely unbelievable. Yeah, sorry, mate, carry on.
Yeah, you take it, don't you? And I think we've both got to hold our hands up, because I think we said on the pod that we were both probably looking at Bruno for captain, and I certainly changed last hour to Son as well, which was lovely, because obviously he got 26 points as captain. Annoying for most, because they had double City defence, but I brought in John Stones, and they conceded with 40 seconds to go against my beloved Chelsea. But to be honest, I brought him in for the future game weeks. I didn't expect him to get a clean sheet against Chelsea, so I'm not too frustrated about that. He just got really close. But 82, and I've got Trent to go, and I've got Salah to go. So quite optimistic that I could push past the 100 mark tonight.
Oh, that'd be amazing, I tell you what. And you're going to have 11 players, are you, this week?
Yeah, that's 11 players.
That's 11. So, I got obviously done with McCarthy in goal. I've got Button on the bench, so no goalie. And I've also, you could say, a bit unlucky with obviously Charlie Taylor. Obviously, he wasn't probably going to play. But Chris Wood, playing at home to Fulham, I fancied him in this game. And this was his last game for me before he was going to leave. And he's blanked, so that's the reason why I'm going to be on 9 players. But, 76 with Salah to go, 9 players all in all. I can't believe it, really. So
that actually sort of brings us on to what I suppose we're going to talk about in this pod, because obviously we've got that blank game week 18 now approaching. And if I were to leave my team as it is now, and as you can see on the video, I'm only going to have around 9 players playing. I say around 9 players playing because 9 players have fixtures, but a part of that is Kilman and Brewster. Now, I don't know if Kilman will start. He didn't last match. Brewster, I've got more hope now, because unfortunately old Musip crashed his Lamborghini, didn't he? So there might be a chance.
How does he own a Lamborghini? Honestly.
I know, mate. Maybe that's why he crashed it.
He's probably scored 1 goal in his life and he owns a...
He realised he's going down, mate, and needed the insurance jobby. crashed it.
It's crazy. He looked terrible as well, but whoever's paying him the money to drive a Lamborghini, then
I hope they're all safe.
Actually needs to be having some stern words to, because he is absolutely shocking. But yeah, no, I totally agree. This could actually be the time Brewster delivers more than a point. Who knows?
Steady on, mate. I said he might start. I didn't say he'll deliver more than a point.
Well, if he doesn't start now, then when will he ever? But yeah, so I'm in a real tricky situation here, because next week I'm actually looking like it's looking like an absolute horror show. I've been thinking about the free hit, but obviously I've banked my transfer. So if I do play my free hit, my second transfer actually goes. So I actually go back to one transfer for the double game week in game week 19, which is massive, because for me, I've got a few things I want to do, a few players I need to bring in with good double game weeks. So that's where I'm at. Do I free hit, or do I play my absolute horrendous team, which I'm pretty sure you're going to get up on the screen, and go with that? But
yeah, we can sort of see your team now on the screen. I mean, you've got people like Charlie Taylor again, who do have a fixture, but you probably don't expect him to start. You've got Wood up top, where you're probably not hoping for too much from him. So
Stevens, Lamptey, Mitchell, and then you've got McCarthy, who's not playing. So I've got 6 players there, and also DCL completely fallen off the rail. Well,
yeah, the regression is
off
real.
The rails, hasn't he? It's incredible. So I've got 6 or 7 players there who I actually really, really don't think are going to deliver. So I might just do a -4 and do 3 transfers, and hopefully the captain pays off if I go either Bruno or KDB, and then look forward to the double game week. But it's an interesting one, because the free hit does look very tasty.
So do you think then, James, I mean, we'll get on to free hit in a sec then, what your team could look like, but you're currently going through a game week where you've only had 9 players starting, and you're on for one of your best scores of the season. I mean, it's very, very good score, well above the average. Is there a bit in the back of your mind thinking you can navigate game week 18 with maybe only 8 or 9 players?
I think it'll actually be my second best game week of the season, actually, which is quite worrying, considering we're 17 in now. But my big problem is, don't get me wrong, my premiums apart from Salah all play. So I've obviously got Bruno, I've got KDB, I've got Son. So them 3 are good for me. But my main issue is I fancy another big player for City. I think they look really impressive against Brighton. I also want a City defender. I want a Man United defender, and I want an Arsenal defender. Now, that's where I think I'll lose my points on players who do free hit, is the people that bring in defenders from them teams. I think they can actually clean up, and if they call the captaincy right, I think they could be on for a huge week.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, City, I don't know if Chelsea were really bad, but City were awesome. Against us, really and impressive. Free flowing football again. I mean, they could have scored more than 3 goals. And they're playing against a Brighton team who's just shipped 3 against a Wolves team that don't have an established striker on there that actually has hairs on his chest. So
they got you up top, haven't they?
I mean, I don't get me wrong. I think that Fabio Silva, maybe in a few seasons' time, could be quite a handy player. But at the moment, he's definitely at the early stages of his career, isn't he? So, I mean, if that's what's sort of swaying me as well, is I'm looking at my team, and like I said, is realistically I'm going to be fielding 6 players that are definitely going to play. If I nail the captain, that might get me out of trouble. I've seen people on social media saying they're in a similar boat, and if they triple captain the likes of someone like KDB, that might get them out of deep water as well. But I got my car MOT'd earlier today, took an hour. And in that hour, I sat in the freezing cold garage, and I had a little play around, as you can see on screen now. And the more I look at it, I'm really tempted to play my free hit here. Reason being is exactly what you said. If I can get 2 City forwards, someone like your KDB, your Sterling, and a City defender.
Yeah,
I think that's big.
I think you can.
I think you can.
I think we're slightly blessed at the minute. Sorry to jump in with the fact of the two guys in midfield. You could say three for Arsenal. You've got Saka. You've got obviously Martinelli and the other young lad Rowe, who are all. I think the highest is Saka at 5'3". Now, if he's your fourth or fifth midfielder, then you can definitely pack 3 or 4 top premiums in it, and then possibly Kane or Lacazette. But yeah, you go, mate, because I know you've got.
No, you're dead right. Because in that free hit team, I would be looking at the moment. I'm looking at Saka because I think he's awesome. There's just something about him. He's got such an awe when he plays football, and he's on corners as well, which I really like. But interestingly. And this is where it sort of depends where your money's at. My team value is quite high. It's about 104 million, 5.6.
Huge.
And I've already got Stones and Holden in the team. So I can afford to get someone like Wan-Bissaka at the back. Now, if you'd spoke to me about Wan-Bissaka a few weeks ago, I wouldn't have said he was worth the money. But he got that jammy assist in game week 17. They're playing a Burnley side. Last time they played Burnley, I remember Martial going crazy and getting a few goals, and they didn't look like conceding either. And I can see that happening again. I think this United team are really starting to get some momentum now, and asking some serious questions. So if you can get an Arsenal defender, United defender, City defender, and you've got your 2 premium cities in midfield. At the moment, I'm set on 2 premium assets for United in midfield, plus your Saka on your 5th midfielder, with someone like Kane up top.
That's good. See, that's
big, isn't it?
Already, I think it beats me by 30, 40 points. That's what I'm worried about. And then you could even go, let's say, a double Newcastle against Sheffield United, who aren't going to score for another 3 years if they were to be in the Prem.
I don't think they could buy a goal at the moment.
You could just go double Newcastle, and then that could be another 12. Do you know what I mean? What's your thoughts on? I tell you what, a bloke who I put in my team first in the beginning of the season, the old Scottish lad for Arsenal, Tierney. I thought he looked at the end of the last season. He looked absolutely mint. On the left with Aubameyang, I thought he was going to be all over the assists, and obviously they looked pretty solid, didn't they, at the end of last year? Obviously, Arsenal hasn't obviously been like that, but. Last game week, he was immense, wasn't he? Sorry.
Yeah, no, he was. You're dead right. He was.
Would you say he's worth what is he at the minute? He's let me just have a little look. He's 5'4".
5'4". Honestly, I think what's really interesting about Tierney is I think he's better when Aubameyang plays on the wing. But
what I thought.
What happens is Aubameyang's threat going forward actually decreases, but I've seen some things and some reports coming from the training ground and what some of the players have been saying about Tierney, and he's got that mentality I was talking about in a few pods ago about the likes of Robertson, where they're there 100% for the team. They actually are one of those few players who, in the modern day, they earn a good salary each week, but they really love playing football and they really appreciate where they are. And I just love that type of player. So if I could afford him, I'd have him in my free hit team. I think
as a free hit player, I think he's perfect. I think he just went massive a week early. I think, do you know what I mean? In the sense of it being a real differential. I think people on free hits would look at him and think, you know what, he's definitely capable of an attacking return and a clean sheet against Palace. But yeah, so what are you thinking about the Wolves-Everton game? Are you not interested in that? Because I can see that being 1-1, 0-0 even. I've got no interest in that.
Yeah, I said on the last pod that if I were free hitting, I'd probably want someone from Wolves or Everton in there. I'm playing at now, I love Size. I think again he's one of those players, isn't he?
5-1.
Realistically,
2 goals, I think, in the last 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, lovely stuff for a defender. But I just asked myself this question: do I see either team keeping a clean sheet in that game? It's either going to be a 0-0, or to be honest, I don't think either team will keep a clean sheet in that game. Can I predict who's going to score in that match? I probably not. I'm a DCL owner, but I could probably see Richarlison scoring because DCL is regressing as we expect, and I just couldn't call a Wolves player. Like you said Sice. well, I'm already saying they're not going to keep a clean sheet, and is he going to score again? So I've on my free hit. I don't need to. I can afford the premiums from other players. And because you said about the Arsenal boy, Saka, Martinelli and Smith's Rowe being at the price they are, it allows you to sort of ignore Wolves and Everton, I feel.
Yeah, it does. I think Size would be the one player I'd actually have out of them two teams. I think at 5-1, he's on, I think, a couple of, I wouldn't say set piece actually, because he's actually scoring the headers against like the likes of Spurs, but no, I think he's a threat, from set pieces. So that's the only person I would pick from that game. Now, an interesting game, I think, is Villa Spurs. Now, I think you obviously have to have one of the big boys for Spurs. Defender for Spurs, I think you actually pointed out earlier, is not actually essential, because I think you said you fancied Villa scoring.
Yeah, I do fancy them scoring, but more importantly, it depends what formation you're going to play. If you're doing a free hit, because if I'm doing a free hit, I would prioritise going for a City defender, United defender, and an Arsenal defender. Now, I'm not saying Palace can't score, because they definitely can, but I prefer owning that player from the home game against someone like Villa, who do create an abundance of chances. I mean, let's not forget, before this Sheffield United match, Palace were dog as well, and they were struggling. And to go out and beat Sheffield United 2-0, I think I could get a bunch of me and 10 boys together and beat Sheffield United 2-0 at the moment, to be honest.
I agree.
So I'd rather have defenders from those three teams.
Yeah, and also what I think we've established is how there's actually a lot wider selection with midfielders than strikers. I think if you actually sort of look at it, you've only really got Kane, Lacazette, can't believe I'm saying that, but Lacazette, Wilson, and I think that's really it. I mean, you're going to take a punt on Cavani, like you said, DCL's off the boil, no one at Wolves. That's it. I think it needs to be 5 in midfield, 2 up top and 3 at the back, or even a 4-5-1 dom and just have Kane.
Yeah, I agree. I actually wouldn't put you off just having Kane up front, because I think there is a lack of striker options. I think the only thing that could possibly sway that for me is when United and City meet on Wednesday in the Cup. If, for example, someone goes out and gets injured, or a few players, they end up playing 90-odd minutes plus, then that might give me some sort of line of vision to change my mind. But at the moment, on that free hit team, I'm going with Wilson. I think, Newcastle look pretty good against Leicester, and they're playing Sheffield United, and Wilson's been doing all right away from home this season. And I've got Kane alongside him. The third one's the bench fodder of Brewster, and he's only there because he's been in my team for a few game weeks now, fodding around. But I think there's some really interesting players to look at. But like I said, to sort of my opinion on the blank game week, and whether you free hit or use another chip, is do you see those big teams go in hard? And if you do, can you get those premiums in from those big teams and make that team look irresistible on paper?
Yeah, definitely I think looks like it for me. My only problem is, like I said, I've banked obviously the free transfer, so I've actually got 2 in the bank. And I did plan on doing a -4 this week, so 3 for a -4, and then doing another -4 for the double. So I'd have around about 9 players this week, and then I'd bring in another couple of players for the double. Now, I think I'd probably maybe do okay this week, but really kick on in the double with the way my squad's looking like. But now when I look at it, and I've got the likes of Stevens, Lamptey, Taylor, Wood, I've got no goalie, Mitchell. It's just, the list just goes on. And Calvert-Lewin, I don't want the Spurs defender. I've only really got De Bruyne, Son, and Fernandes. I want. That's 3, and I just think I might just have to do the free hit.
Well, it only takes something like KDB to only get an assist and Sterling to get 2, and then you're in sort of up the creek, aren't you?
Yeah, and I think the big thing is not only do I fancy Man City to absolutely go to town on Brighton, and I think Arsenal will as well. Man United, I think, should obviously beat Burnley, but it's a bit tough at Turf Moor. It's the clean sheets for me.
Yeah, and I think that's something you've got to consider there. Like you say, getting those teams and the players with the plum fixtures, as we say, for those clean sheets would be vital. So yeah, I think that's my take on the free hit. I've got not much more to add about that. I'm still going to toss and turn over whether to play it and which way to go, because I don't know whether to have Kane and Son or double up on the United boys, for example. But just moving on, one thing to consider, and I'll quickly put this on the screen for you all to see, is there are a number of players at the moment that are on the suspension tightrope. They've all accumulated 4 yellow cards, the likes of Grealish, Target, Klitsch, Maguire. One more, and these boys are getting suspension, and that's going to come during that double game week. So you've got to be a little bit coy on if you're bringing in any players at all that are not on a free hit. Because they're one away. Walker Peters, for example, who I dumped last game week. Don't they? Yeah.
So do Grealish and Target. So I totally agree. They're all obviously, the 2 Villa boys are playing, and obviously Slabhead is. So yeah, that's one to think. If you have got obviously Grealish and Target, and you're not looking to take them out in the double game week, you might have to be forced to make a move because of that suspension.
Yeah.
So one to obviously keep in mind, not only in the fact of obviously with the news, obviously at the minute with the lockdown. So yeah, I'm not going to pull any triggers at the moment. I'm going to wait and see. We've obviously got 9 days, I think, or 8 days to the game week. Like we said, we've got the Carabao Cup semi-finals. So if people play, does that influence, your City defenders or?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a really key point to sort of leave the whole free hit on is. We've got an announcement tonight from Bojo, haven't we? 8:00, which we could be going back into full lockdown. Now, on the flip side of that, Scotland have just announced a full lockdown. However, they have said that professional sport is going to continue. So hopefully, we're in the same boat as that. But we have got to be coy on that. So if you are going to play your free hit, I'll finish it off by saying try play it at the last sort of 24, 48 hours, just not to get stung. I don't think you're going to miss too many price rises or drops to really impact what players you can go for. So, yeah, good luck with that. But having said that, last thing then, what about captain?
Yeah, great question. I think, honestly, at the minute, after seeing KDB playing as like a false 9, was he?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I think I'm going to go KDB.
Yeah,
I still can't get my head around. I think 20% of the game own him. Oh, that's interesting. He actually went below 20%. He's now just under 22. So they're already crawling back as soon as he does the business against his old team, who he always scores against. And I know you obviously said this before the game, but yeah, at the moment I'm going KDB. I think the last 2 times they've played Brighton, they've absolutely battered them. I think they've scored at least 4 or 5 goals. I think Turf Moor is a tricky place. Love Bruno, and again, Son. So away to Villa, can't see Spurs scoring too many there.
Yeah.
So I'm going KDB, mate. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at KDB, and if I don't play my free hit, it'd be more than likely on KDB. And I actually see a lot of people maybe triple captain him as well for game week 18. If I do play my free hit, this will be my big dilemma: is do I go Raheem Sterling? He's only 4.9% owned, which is, I don't think I've ever seen Sterling be only 4.9% owned for a few seasons now. But I'll be tossing and turning between those two. And just to wrap this pod up, guys, we'll just finish off with our flutters. For game week 17, we both went with the North London teams. We said Spurs and Arsenal. We know we wasn't really sort of putting our necks on the line too much because they're both favourites. But at the end of the day, they still got to win and they still got to come in, especially when you see the conditions that Arsenal had to play in. It looked set for a Big Sam, West Brom, harsh game, but they managed to do it. So that was nice. I think it was 1.8 on a popular bookmaker. And at the moment, I probably would have to stick with the big boys and probably say something like a United -1 maybe for my flutter this week.
Fair enough. I think you can't go. You can't go with obviously City, possibly Arsenal, but yeah, I don't mind that at all. I think that is, you are putting your neck out on the line a little bit there. But I think my shout would probably be Wolves-Everton draw. I fancy score draw there.
Lovely. I think that's a good odds as well.
I think that's what I'd go for. Score draw or just obviously the draw. But that's what I just see. That's the only thing I can actually think that's any worth of any value, because maybe Spurs away at Villa, but I actually wouldn't touch that because Villa could easily win.
So are you going for the draw then? In the
yeah, I'll go for draw. Wolves, Everton, captain, KDB. Obviously, being patient, not doing anything stupid until obviously the 12th. And then fingers crossed there is games on the 12th more than anything.
All right then. Well, guys, good luck for game week 18. It's been enjoyable as ever. Look forward to your comments and whatnot and your feedback. Definitely get in touch if you've got any questions and whatnot. That's not another FPL podcast. That's the preview for game week 18. It's a goodbye from me.
It's a good night from me.